Welcome back to Assen TT Circuit for round 18 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of the Netherlands. Riders out on their sighting lap as they prepare for MX2 Race 2. A great crowd in here, as always has been the case for the last 3 years. Work has gone on around this 1,500-meter long circuit. That next straight underneath the city banner will be just as difficult as it has been throughout the whole weekend. But if you joined us for the first time today, obviously you would have missed race 1, and here's the highlights of MX2 Race 2. Here's what happened in MX2 Race 1. Pulls Jonas across the Fox shot line for the ninth time this season, right away from the outside because of a poor qualifying race. Jago Geerts was right there in second, and third was the teammate Prado. Prado challenged Jonas for the lead, putting his teammate under pressure, who is hopefully going for a first world title. Thomas Covington was in third, but Conrad Muse found his way eventually through. Those two jostled for position. Prado was getting just a little bit too close for comfort in Prado's eyes as they battled over the lead. The young Spaniard not really taking no for an answer. He did lead, though, for 2 laps around the 6-7 lap mark. But Jonas, back down the inside, knew that he needed to score as many points as possible to stay ahead of this guy here on the right, the Suzuki of Jeremy Seewer. Seewer at that point was running in 6th place. But Calvin Valandrin eventually found his way past, pushed the Swiss rider down to 7th, who would eventually come home in 5th because of other things that happened at the head of the field. Seewer did try to dive back down the inside, though. Those two riders were then going after Jago Geerts on the Sarkar Racing KTM, but look what happened here. Landed in the soft stuff straight over the handlebars. Very, very lucky to walk away. He will start race 2. But Conrad Muse charged down the inside of Covington to get himself in the third with about 6 laps to go. But then he fell in the background, cross-rutted on the jump, landed and just lost balance in the deep sand. He fell down to 8th and got back to 6th as they closed in on the 2 Red Bull KTMs. But it was Jonas who won out from Prado, Covington, Valandrin, Seewer, your top 5, and it was Muse and Bogus coming home in 7th. Thomas Kjær Olsen, Julian Lieber, Hunter Lawrence was 10th. Paul Jonas is 1 step away, 1 point away from taking the MX2 title. Well, Lisa Leyland was down on the grid. She caught up with Jeremy Seewer, but before that, Jago Geerts, I think.
Hello and welcome to the start of the second MX2 race of the day. Now, we just saw earlier our MXGP World Champion being crowned in the form of Tony Cairoli, and it's highly likely that it's going to happen after this race with Paul Jonas. He only needs 1 point to claim his first ever Motocross World Championship title. But I want to speak to Jeremy Seewer. First off, just tell us about that first race. It was quite a tough one for you.
Yeah, you know, I just couldn't make it happen to move forward. Like, I stayed pretty much in 5th Almodo, you know, but I just lost always a second or a bit more on the wave sections before the finish, and it wasn't really my fault, you know, so that's quite hard to accept. But we moved forward, and I mean, honestly, we came here and I knew, you know, the championship is actually over. I just come here to perform good and everything. Theoretically, 40 points, what it was before the first moto, is possible to catch in 2 races, but not in practice, you know. So I just go out and try to have fun on that track, which isn't that easy, you know, and just go for it.
Okay, well, have a good one. Thank you. Jeremy Seewer there, he said that he knew that the championship was over before coming into this round, but it was mathematically possible, perhaps if he did better in that first moto. But I want to speak to Jago Geerts now. Usually we see him in the MX250 European Championship, but he's actually wildcarding this weekend in MX2. Jago, having a great ride first off in that first moto on your Sarkar KTM, but then it kind of went wrong for you, didn't it?
Yeah, I had a good start, and riding was going pretty well, and was riding on 7th place. And then jumped on the side of the jump and crashed pretty hard, but I'm ready for the second race, so we'll see how it goes.
I know during the break you got checked over by medical. Is everything okay? Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Only a little bit stiff, but we will see how it goes.
But just on the positives, handling the MX2 bike, you seem really in control. You seem smooth and confident out there for pretty much half of that race.
Yeah, the riding was going pretty good. Good start, so I try to do that also now.
Okay, well, good luck. Thank you. Good luck to all the guys here. It's time for MX2 Race 2.
Op MXGP TV. De betaaltafel krijg je van €8 nog wat en dan kunt u gewoon op uw laptop of op de computer thuis de wedstrijden volgen.
Here's how the riders line up for MX2 Race 2. Thomas Covington with his 5th qualifying race win of the season ahead of his teammates, both of them, Thomas Kjær-Olsen and Conrad Muse. Jeremy Seewer lines up 4th ahead of Calvin Belander and David Puches. Jorge Prado, Brian Bogus, Julian Lieber, Ben Watson, Hunter Lawrence, Anton Goal on the TM, Alvin Osland, Lars van Berkel, Mika Boyd de Waard and Jed Beaton. 33 riders lining up. No Italian rider Michele Cervelin. He was here, he was entered to ride, he went through technical control, but that crash that he had at the USGP a week ago on the finish line jump, he just tore the inside like a groin muscle. Tried to ride in the week, caught it in a rut, and he's just tore it again. Just wasn't strong enough, wasn't good enough to ride here. So he didn't go out in either the free or the time practice sessions. So the HRC MX2 rider, a non-starter in both MX2 races this afternoon. The wind is starting to pick up here at Assen. The penultimate round of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of the Netherlands. The final round in a week's time, but in MX2 there is still the matter of trying to determine a world champion. Number 61, Jorge Prado, he came home 2nd behind his teammate Paul Jonas in race 1, took the lead for a couple of laps, but in the end settled for a place behind the Latvian. Jeremy Seewer struggled for pace, eventually came home in 5th, so really picking off just 1 position from where he was on the opening lap. Not what he would have wanted coming into this one, but he did say in the pre-grid interview a moment ago, mathematically he knew that it was possible, but realistically he knew that the title was pretty much over coming into this round. And there is the potential world champion-elect in MX2, Paul Jonas, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. He needs to score just 1 more point than Jeremy Seewer. It needs to be more than 50 going into this, coming out of this race, because the final round in a week's time in France at Villars-sous-Écot, the MXGP of Pays de Montbéliard. At the moment, that gap is 49 points. So in theory, Paul Jonas just needs to finish ahead of Jeremy Seewer to be crowned MX2 World Champion. As for the overall classification in this Grand Prix, though, Paul Jonas, Jorge Prado, that guy that we just saw there, Thomas Covington on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, they are definitely up for any one of those top 3 positions, because they were the first 3 in Moto number 1, Jonas, Prado and Covington. Calvin Belander not off the podium. Potentially, he was 4th in race 1, and Jeremy Seewer was 5th. And as you can see, lining up on the inside gates there, Paul Jonas over on the right-hand side as we look at it, 4 or 5 gates over. He pulled his 9th Fox hole shot from there in MX2 race 1. Can he do it again in race 2? The 18th round of the FIM Motocross World Championship here, the MXGP of the Netherlands. Race 2 is go for MX2, and over on the right-hand side, Conrad Muse this time takes his line from the outside. Will he make it a Fox hole shot? Yes, he does. He arrives at the Fox hole shot line first. And but just behind him is Jorge Prado. Prado challenging as they drop into turn 3. And it's the Red Bull KTM rider ahead of the Rockstar Energy Husky. 33, Lieber is next, then Seewer, then Verlanderen. Where is Jonas? Looking out for Jonas. Was there carnage in the first turn? Because I was looking at the Fox hole shot line towards there, and Muse leads at the opening lap as he hits the line for the first time. But look at Prado there, bar to bar, as they hit the Ippon jump. But it was definitely Conrad Muse who grabbed the Fox hole shot for the 2nd time. There is Jonas around the outside, so just behind Alvin Osland and Brian Bogus in around about 15th place maybe. But it's Muse who leads. Jorge Prado second. Julian Lieber is in third place. Calvin Bellandren 4, Jeremy Seewer is 5. Hunter Lawrence is now in 6th. He's just found his way past the Alzio Yamaha rider, Jorge Zaragoza. Ben Watson is in 9th, just behind Thomas Kjær Olsen. And Calvin Bellandren looking to make a move on Lieber. Lieber taking him wide, though. Frantic action on the opening lap of MX2 Race 2 here at Assen in the Netherlands. Lieber third, the man in white is fourth, Calvin Bellandren, then the yellow Suzuki of Seewer is fifth, then Thomas Kjær Olsen, Hunter Lawrence, Ryan Bogers as they charge down the short straight. Then in the fluoro colours on the Hitachi Contract Furniture Group KTM is Ben Watson. But look at the lead, look at the run that Conrad Mewse is trying to make for it here. This is playing perfectly into the hands of number 91, Jeremy Seewer, because he is ahead of Pauls Jonas. And as long as he finishes ahead of the Latvian and winner from race 1 and world championship leader in MX2, the title fight goes to the final round and the final 2 motos of the season. Jonas struggling for pace at the moment. He's in 11th place. Has he made any advancements on this opening lap, though? It is still Mewse who leads. He's the fastest man on track, the fastest lap of the race, a 36.9 for the young Brit on that Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Prado is second for Red Bull KTM. There they are at the other end of the straight. The LRT KTM of Julian Lieber is third, coming into land now. The white HSF Logistics KTM of Calvin Bellandren is next in fourth. Then Seewer, Olsen, Bogers, Lawrence, Watson, Jonas up to 10th. He's found his way past the Spaniard, Jorge Zaragoza. Alvin Osland is 12th for Khmer Yamaha. 13, Brent Van Donnick. 14, Jed Beaton for Carglass Honda. Thought Bellandren was just about to make a move down the inside of Lieber. He might go to the inside this time because the Belgian took him wide through this corner a lap ago, and they almost come to blows again a lap later. Covington is in 15th position, not the start that the American wanted. Lars van Berkel is behind him, then Puches. Fernandez, the injured Jago Geerts after his massive crash in race 1, and Darian Sanai, he was quiet in race 1, Monster Energy DRT Kawasaki rider. Here's your front 2 though. Conrad Mewse, the highest he's ever finished is a 3rd place in moto number 2 in Latvia. He did get a 4th place recently as well in moto number 1 in Sweden. He was on course for a possible 2nd or 1st in moto number 1 before he crashed out of 3rd position, chasing down the 2 KTMs. But here's Jonas going after Ben Watson. Watson in the fluoro colours in green, doesn't get good drive through the wave sections, which is not normally like him. But Jonas jumping long, making sure that he gets that KTM at least a half a bike length clear of the young Englishman. Down this straight, there's Thomas Kjær Olsen going through. He is in 6th place, then Bogers, then Lawrence, then Jonas now. He's in 9th. Then Ben Watson in 10th place. Is he already thinking about the championship? It would be hard not to. He's won FIM Junior World titles, European titles. But he is yet to win a world title, and Lieber down, picking himself up. I wonder if there was an issue there with him and Bellandren, or if it was just a rider error. And a bit of a hang-up there as well for the 41. So Jonas just taking his time to get settled here. Oh, Mewse just hangs a leg through that first turn. Lucky not to ride side saddle through the exit of turn 1. Fantastic crowd here yet again at the MXGP of the Netherlands, here at the Assen TT circuit. Conrad Mewse continues to lead with 24.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. MX2 race 2, and he has a slight advantage over the Spaniard Jorge Prado, who is on course for picking up his another Grand Prix victory here in 2017, this time at Assen. Working their way past the media boxes to their left. They have about a 4-5 second advantage over. Nice line there from Prado. Jumps long into the left-hander, lands on a downside. Mewse it is who still leads though as they head out the back through the infield section. in the paddock area. Different choice of lines for the two young starlets. The next generation of MX2 riders are lining up already here. And it's Muse leading the way. Prado dives down the inside. We've seen how ruthless he can be, diving down the inside of his teammate on more than one occasion in race one, so he's not going to take any prisoners when it comes to finding a way past the 426 of Conrad Muse. Skies look a little bit dark over on the horizon. Rain ominous potentially. Maybe for the latter stages of the afternoon, who knows. But as it is at the moment on the screen, Prado, Muse, Valandren. Valandren aiming for his second career podium. His first came in Latvia just a few rounds into the series. "23 minutes, plus 2 laps to go." Conrad Muse continues to lead MX2 Race 2 here at the MXGP of Assen. Into the final turn, getting ready to click off lap number 4. He's pretty much led the whole way with Jorge Prado just behind him there, number 61 in second. The gap was less than a second a lap ago. It goes out marginally to 1.1. So a 2/10 gain for the young Brit. They are now only 3.7 seconds clear of Calvin Valandren, who is closing in on that HSF Logistics Motorsport KTM. And he's bringing with him Jeremy Seewer and Thomas Kjær Olsen. And that is that freight trainer riders there. 5-6 riders on the same straight. Thomas Kjær Olsen in 5th, Brian Bogus working overtime to try and close down this lead group of riders, and he was the fastest of the top 6 guys with a 1:39 that time around. The leaders, Prado and Muse, or Muse and Prado, were 1:42s. It was 40s for Valandren, Seewer, Olsen, 39 Bogus, and a 40 for Jonas, who is now in 7th place. Hunter Lawrence 8, Lieber 9, Ben Watson 10, ahead of the two Khmer Yamahas of Osman and Van Donik. Seewer doing his best to keep this title fight alive for at least another round. But we have a new race leader, and it's Jorge Prado. Prado starting to pull clear of Muse. He put a lot into the qualifying race, even more into the first race earlier today, Conrad Muse. I just wonder if the effects of that hard push are now starting to tell on the young teenager. Because Valandren looking to go around the outside of the Husqvarna in the penultimate turn. A better, cleaner drive for the South African, who rails the outside and cuts. Oh, he cut to the inside. He had rubber on rubber contact. Hit the rear wheel of Muse and goes down. A lifeline and breathing space for Jorge Prado. The gap now 2.7 seconds, but Jeremy Seewer will pick up 3rd place, and 2 more points for him as well. Vital, crucial in the fight for the MX2 title race. Jonas will be on. Did he pick himself up? Yeah, Valandren picked himself up in 6th place, so Jonas is still there in 7th. So 14 points for him, puts him on 7.35. Jeremy Seewer on 20 will move to 6.92, so that is going to be 43 points all of a sudden. Jonas needs 7 points more than Jeremy Seewer to be crowned world champion. He's got 20 minutes to go. He is currently behind Jeremy Seewer. Seewer in 3rd, Jonas in 7th. The solution is simple. Pass Seewer, finish ahead of the Suzuki rider, you are world champion. Or wait till the following week in France and the final round. No pressure there then. Alvin Osland has just found his way past Thomas Covington. Covington was 11th, but the Yamaha rider finding his way past the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider. And Muse now all of a sudden under attack from Jeremy Seewer. He is starting to fade here. That gap has gone out to more than 2.7 seconds between Prado and Muse. Thomas Kjær Olsen looking interested as well. A mistake coming out of the final turn for Seewer. Doesn't get the drive, and Thomas Kjær Olsen almost got the drive on the Swiss rider. He might still make a pass at the end of the straight. Seewer will know that he's there. He's got to go to the inside and defensive, and that's exactly what he does. Still defensive down the next straight. Kjær Olsen will look to try and launch around the outside, but not able to do that. Prado continues to lead. He's 5.3 seconds clear now. Muse on borrowed time, but he might just have a little bit of respite here with Siwa challenging and battling with the number 19 of Thomas Kjær-Olsen. But look at Bogus. I wondered what the roar of the crowd was all about as we went through a half a lap ago, and it was because Bogus has got himself right onto the rear wheel of the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna of Thomas Kjær-Olsen in red. These two fighting over 4th place. Bogus then closest to the camera. He's in 5th. Verlander in 6th. Jonas 7th. Lawrence 8th. Lieber and Watson rounding out the top 10. Good solid performances from Ben Watson. Siwa has had a tough weekend. I know he's there in 3rd place behind Conrad Muse, but credit where credit's due. Conrad Muse, a strong first moto, having a great second one. Looked like he was just fading a little bit a couple of laps ago. Definitely digging in deep and making Siwa work very, very hard. And the neutrals that watch this on a regular basis, MXGP, might be looking at Siwa thinking normally he would find his way past the young Brit. Just goes to show how hard he's been working in the last few weeks with his new training partners and the amount of time that he's been putting in on the bike. But Prado will win the GP. Jonas will be 2nd, but he will not be crowned world champion. Muse will be 3rd. Siwa will be 4th. Just by 1 point. So, from Siwa's point of view, the Suzuki mechanics will be putting out the board to say, you must pass Conrad Muse for 3rd. Muse is sitting there at the moment. He can't do anything. That's down to those two at the moment, the 3rd place. And also in the hands of Calvin Verlander. Verlander needs to find his way past Bogus and Thomas Kjær-Olsen and maybe even Jeremy Siwa if he's to get 3rd overall, but still plenty of time left in this 2nd MX2 race here in Assen. Brian Bogus took a look over his shoulder then to see his teammate Calvin Verlander regrouping and charging back towards the front of the field after that earlier mistake where he just tapped the rear wheel of Conrad Muse. Back end lighting up on him again there. Look at Paul Jonas. It's taken 7 laps to get settled in here in this 2nd MX2 race, but over on the left-hand side, coming towards us in orange, Paul Jonas, the World Championship leader in MX2. He won't be crowned world champion at the moment. Oh, we've got a Kawasaki rider down. Can't quite see who that is. Was it Kay Eben maybe, or Rubini? Just trying to think of the Kawasaki riders in this MX2 field. There aren't that many of them. Working their way towards us. Siwa has put a little bit of distance between himself and Thomas Kjær-Olsen, who goes by now. But Bogus and Verlander still at it, and Jonas right there trying to mix things up. Probably realizes the only way to get stuck in is to actually go out and race this thing rather than worrying about the championship chase. He will still have a health advantage at the top of the MX2 standings. There's Hunter Lawrence just off the back of the screen there. Bogus has been caught, of course, by Verlander. So Verlander now up into 5th position. Bogus being pushed down to 6th. There is Jonas in 7th. And then Hunter Lawrence, Suzuki World MX2, just off the back there in 8th place. 9th, Julian Lieber, LRT, KTM. And he is about 2 or 3 seconds clear of Ben Watson on the Hitachi Contract Furniture Group KTM. Conrad Muse still sits in 2nd position, a career best for the young Englishman on that Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Prado though, whoa! Siwa very lucky to keep it on 2 wheels there. Prado though is 5.5 seconds clear on his Red Bull KTM. Muse 2nd, just going out of shot. Here is Siwa 3rd. Thomas Kjær-Olsen still 4th, about 2 seconds further back. Then Verlander. There he is, just off the back of the shot. Bogus is going with him as well. And there's Jonas right at the top. So brutally rough, physical. Yes, it's not a natural sand track, but it is natural sand. Brought in from just a kilometre away or so. And it's been laid on the circuit, and it is roughed up just like a natural sand track. So a real physical test this weekend with the rain that we had Friday, Saturday. These guys just have to maintain concentration the whole time. Rennie de Jong is going through. It was Rubini that fell through the wave section just a lap or so ago. But once again, Jeremy Seaward gets close to the rear wheel of Conrad Mewse. 13 minutes plus 2 laps to go here. MX2, race 2. Jeremy Seaward looking at picking up another position and 2 more vital World Championship points. Conrad Mewse continues to hang on to second position. Jeremy Seaward trying to close him down, but his Suzuki just not able to get close enough and lost ground right at the end of the wave section there as well. He wasn't tidy through there a lap before as well, and the back end just sliding around on that Suzuki as he comes into turn 5. This is where Mewse crashed in race 1 on that first jump in the background. Still a sterling performance from the young Englishman. Hanging on to second. Yes, he's lost the toe to Jorge Prado. Prado looking at taking a second Grand Prix victory in his rookie season. He'll finish with a second and a win and 47 points. Remember, it's 25 for a win, 22 for second, 20, 18, 16, 15. Single digits right the way down to 20th, where that rider will pick up a 1 point. Seaward in 4th. Overall, if he finds his way past Mewse here, that will put him on the podium and Mewse off the podium. And a nervous look over the shoulder there. Seaward from out of nowhere in the last half a lap. He lands heavily though. He runs across the outside of Conrad Mewse, runs him wide. Mewse looking to get over the berm, but is that Seaward now safe in second and on the podium, or is Mewse going to retaliate here? The board will go out to say he needs to make that pass back. But is now in danger of being caught by his teammate, Thomas Kjær-Olsen. Look at the ruts on the jump there as they come out of that turn, turn 3, the 180 left. It's still a very good performance from Conrad Mewse. Again, a mistake there from Seaward, right at the end of the wave section. 42.2 for Prado, 41.5 Seaward. So he is quicker. Is he going to narrow down that 8.5 second advantage? Mewse 45.6, 41s for Thomas Kjær-Olsen and Calvin Verlanderen. All of a sudden, Conrad Mewse might be in trouble here. Seaward looking better than he did in moto number 1, but as he left it too late to do anything about Jorge Prado, he was only a second or so quicker than the Spaniard last time around. Yeah, and Mewse starting to wind out the tongue now. Thomas Kjær-Olsen's gone by. The next one through will be number 10, Calvin Verlanderen, followed closely by, I would imagine, his HSF Logistics teammate. Ugly corner that for Jeremy Seaward, and a huge let-off for the Swiss rider. Almost threw it away. Verlanderen, a quick pull of the tear off, looking to go around the outside of Mewse. It's too far around there, though. He'll slow it down here on the inside. Does he get the drive at the back wheel? Not quite. Maybe he's in pole position at the end of the straight. No, Mewse goes defensive. Verlanderen will look to go around the outside. Can't stay there too long because Brian Bogus is closing in. This is deja vu for Verlanderen. This time he gets alongside Mewse, but not able to inflict himself, or is he? The two riders bar to bar. Verlanderen does go through. The South African residing in Holland, rides in the Dutch Championship, rides for a Dutch-based team. Fans like that, right in front of the main grandstand. So Thomas Kjær Olsen third, Verlanderen now fourth, Muse is fifth, but alongside him, in the middle of the three riders on the face of that jump, is Brian Bogus. He's also looking to follow his teammate through. Eight and a half minutes to go. MX2 race 2. Round 18 of the FIM MXGP World Championship. And Bogus does, no. Bogus tried to go down the inside, just wasn't close enough. Muse read it like a book. Closed the door. Bogus has to do it all again. This is the battle for 5th place. If it stays like this, as Bogus jumps long in his quest to find a way past Conrad Muse, Prado will win the GP on 47. Jonas will be second on 39. Siwa will be third on 38. Verlanderen fourth on 36, but for Siwa, he will just lose a point. So it'll be 41 going into the next round, the final round in France in a week's time. There is Jonas. He finds his way. In fact, he's being caught by Hunter Lawrence here. Lawrence looking to go around the outside, doing anything he can to help his teammate. And he does find a way alongside. Or does he? Jonas reacts and responds immediately. He knows he doesn't want to lose any more places. But he also knows he has to finish ahead of Jeremy Siwa if he's to be crowned world champion. That's not happening at the moment. And Bogus down the inside of Muse. And he goes into 5th place. Again, the fans loving that in the main grandstand area. And Lawrence has found his way past Jonas as well. A good second race for Hunter Lawrence. Didn't have a great one in moto number 1. But now he charges down the inside of Conrad Muse, making that position stick. So 2 positions in about a half a lap for the young Aussie, who started 13th in race 1, only finished in 10th. And Jonas goes through as well. Jonas will expect to stay ahead of Muse through here. He's now fading fast. 33, Lieber and Thomas Covington, 64, also queuing up behind the young Englishman, Conrad Muse. Fantastic first race, fantastic qualifying, and a great start in moto number 2, but he is just running out of steam, highlighting how much more work he needs to do for next year at the very least. But he has come on leaps and bounds in the second half of the season. Oh, we've got a smoking LRT KTM there. Lieber gets nudged wide by the 426. And Covington goes through on Lieber, gets himself up into 9. So frantic action here in a final moment of MX2 race 2. Covington past his teammate now and going after Jonas. So Jonas gains a couple of positions and he's in the danger of losing them again. So it's all going to sort itself out. It is back to 40 points at the moment, it is. But is that going to change again as we cross the line? It does. Difficult to know what to focus on here. Oh, Jonas just ahead of Covington. Muse and Lieber. Lieber, we're going to be on the outside here in a moment, but Paul's Jonas riding a conservative race, it has to be said. But he's putting himself in a bit of a danger zone here because he's got riders queuing up all over the place. Only takes a mistake and you get tagged and all of a sudden you go down. But Prado, the other end of the field, leading the way. Siwa's going to be second, Olsen third, Verlanderen 4, Bogus 5, Lawrence has disappeared, he's 6, and then we've got Jonas here 7, and he's bringing up the freight trainer riders that is Thomas Covington, Julian Lieber and Conrad Muse. Watson's down to 15th. He's been passed, so maybe a mistake there from Watson, because Puches, Van Donnik, Osland beaten, and Jago Geert. So Watson having problems in this second moto. Covington working overtime. 4 minutes plus 2 laps to go. MX2 race 2. Looks like the championship fight in MX2 will go down to the final round because Jeremy Seewer is in second position. And the championship leader here on the Red Bull KTM in orange, Paul Jonas, is in 7th place. He needed to be ahead of Jeremy Seewer to be crowned world champion in race 2. Covington looking to go around the outside. Jonas knows he's there. Just checks him up a little bit to the outside, making Covington work and think about his line choice. Again, Covington will go, I was going to say, will go to the outside, but he got hung up on a couple of holes there. Lieber not giving up the fight either. This is Prado. He was fantastic in race 1, was Jorge Prado, as he battled with his teammate, kept him on his toes. Settled for second in the end, but only by about a second or so. But Jeremy Seewer, that gap is not coming down. It's 8.4 seconds. So the Suzuki just not having the pace this week. Jeremy Seewer, as he said on the pre-grid interview, kind of came here with the mindset that, you know, the championship was already done, but just go out and have a good time, which is difficult on a racetrack like this, which is very, very tough and physically demanding and a challenge in more ways than one. A couple of minutes on the clock. That time is 1:44 for Prado, 43. So the gap coming down, 7.3 seconds. Maybe just leaving it too late though. Oh, this KTM here, this LRT machine of Julian Lieber, doesn't look like it's going to last much longer. Definitely got a bit of a smoke on, has the LRT rider. Let's have a look at the championship, actually. Thomas Covington is 5th. Still got a few points to make up on Benoit Paturel, who will hold on to 4th for another round at least. Lieber, it'd be a shame if he can't finish in that 8th or higher in this second race. A minute plus 2 laps to go. MX2 race 2, round 18 of the FIA Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of the Netherlands here at Assen. Jorge Prado continues to lead. He's about 7 seconds clear of Jeremy Seewer. And Thomas Kjær Olsen about another 7 or 8 seconds further back. Then we have Calvin Verlanderen, Brian Bogers and Hunter Lawrence rounding out the top 6. There is Thomas Kjær Olsen, number 19. He's in 3rd place at the moment. But Paul Jonas, who could have claimed the title, still can with time on the clock. But Jonas circulating in 7th place, as he has done for much of the moto. Looks like he's going to have to wait another week to be crowned MX2 World Champion. Here's Calvin Verlanderen. He's in 4th place at the moment for HSF Logistics Motorsport KTM. Not going to be good enough for a podium here this weekend. He'll finish 4th, 2 points behind Jeremy Seewer, and it will be the 2 Red Bull KTMs, 1st and 2nd. Jorge Prado and Paul Jonas that will stand alongside Seewer on the top 2 steps of the box. Here is Prado. What a great season he's having. He will leave here 7th in points. Started here 7th in points. His rookie season, he's found out where his flaws are. Can't ride the heat, but is that 4.3 seconds anymore? There's Jeremy Seewer. Can he pick up a race win here? That will give him 3 more points. That'll leapfrog him to 2nd overall. Prado will be mindful of the fact, but is he starting to fade here? He takes a look over his shoulder, sees the Suzuki homing in on him. Probably can't do any more than he's doing. The sun is starting to get low here as well. over the other side of the VIP section there. Doesn't want to take any unnecessary risks. Jorge Prado, 2-lap board out. The gap is now 3.2 seconds, a full second pull back there for Jeremy Seewer. Is he going to just run out of time? Is it going to be about a second between them as they hit the finish line at the end of this race? 2 laps to go. Jeremy Seewer from our overhead cam doing all he can to close in on Jorge Prado here. Number 61, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. The young Spaniard going in search of Grand Prix victory number 3. He's already been on the podium twice in second as well so far this year, but winning in different conditions. The hard-packed nature, the rocky surface of Trentino and the deep sand of Lommel in Belgium just 4 rounds ago actually. He didn't score in the US, but look at the gap coming down. It is not 3.2 seconds anymore. Jeremy Seewer may have just timed this to perfection, and he's looking at taking a race win and 3 more vital World Championship points away from Jorge Prado, and he's going to stick them in his own back pocket. Just over a lap to go. Fans on the edge of their seats, up there on the grandstand, they are on the edge of their toes, trying to peer over the barriers just to get a glimpse of the action here in the closing stages of MX2 Race 2, here at the 18th round of the FIM Motocross World Championship. Prado leads down through the home straight. Getting ready to take the 1-lap board. Seewer alongside him. Prado fading here in the closing stages. Anton Gold is about to get lapped on that factory TM. He's just outside of the points, and Seewer dives down the inside. Prado makes himself very wide indeed. Oh, big moment there from Prado. He's still on it, and he's still in the fight for a race win. He's responded, he's opened up that throttle on the right-hand side, and he is giving it full beans. He does not want to be denied, not on the half a lap to go. And Seewer has got so close. A great response this from the young Spaniard. It is not over until that checkered flag is waved. I think Prado will still win the GP overall, but he wants to do it with a race win. Seewer charges. Well, I thought he was going to go down the inside. He goes deep, he goes long around the outside here. Needs to keep it clean and tidy. Goes to the outside, looking for a little bit more firmer drive as he swings into turn 1. Prado may just have this one in the bag. He can't afford any slip-ups. Seewer is just out of time here. 2 more corners to go. It will all depend on the drive out of the final turn through the waves. Either one of those 2 riders messes up through there, that will be the result. Seewer goes to the outside. He tries to get drive. He might just get it as well. He messes up. Prado, it's going to be a drag to the finish. Prado takes a look over his shoulder. He wins the race here. He takes the overall victory as well for Red Bull KTM. Seewer comes home second, and that is going to be 3rd overall for the Swiss rider at the moment. Depends what happens here between Brian Vogers and Calvin Verlanderen. Seewer over the line second. Thomas Kjær-Olsen 3rd. Verlanderen 4th. Vogers 5th. 2 tenths in it between those 2. And Prado and Seewer having a good chat after that race. But here is Paul Jonas. Hunter Lawrence goes through in 6th. Jonas hangs on for 7th. The title fight goes down to the final round at Pays de Montbéliard at Villars-sous-Écot in a week's time. Paul Jonas will move to 735 points. Jeremy Seewer on 694, so that's a gap of 41. So Jonas gaining a point on Jeremy Seewer this weekend. Jorge Prado, though, what a fantastic ride for the young Spaniard. nailing a third Grand Prix win in his rookie season. We'll grab a quick word with him in a moment, and after the podium ceremony with our top three, that will be Prado, Jonas and Jeremy Seewer. We'll give you official confirmation in just a moment for MX2 Race 2. But the fans out here today at Assen in the Netherlands having a fantastic time. Great racing throughout the day here in all the classes, from 150 European to the women's to the vets. MX2 is done and dusted here. We have a second race winner in the form of Jorge Prado and an overall winner as well, the young Spaniard for Red Bull KTM. For the third time this year, he's getting ready to speak to Lisa Leyland, and we'll bring you that interview in just a few moments' time. There's Thomas Kjær Olsen. He came home third in the race, fifth overall in the GP. And it looks like third place is going to be his. In fact, it is. So Thomas Kjær Olsen, 5.56. Benoit Paturel, 5.04. Thomas Kjær Olsen will be third overall in the 2017 MX2 World Championship. Not bad for his rookie season in MX2. Still waiting for our race winner and overall Grand Prix winner, Jorge Prado. Work on the finish line in readiness for MXGP Race 2. But Jorge Prado, a four-time race winner in 2017, a three-time Grand Prix winner in his rookie season. And backing up Paul Jonas, his Red Bull KTM teammate, perfectly. Jonas was victorious in Moto #1, could only manage 7th in Race 2. And Prado dug in deep. He went second and first for the overall win. Here he is, getting ready to speak to Lisa Leyland. It's taken him a little bit longer to get here, but the young Spaniard will stand on the top step of the podium for the third time in 2017.
Jorge Prado, congratulations, your third MX2 Grand Prix victory. It was so close at the end there, but you managed to win that second moto.
Yeah, it was a close one. First moto, I kept it easy with the second place, and now I knew I had to push if I want to be in the top. So I let Conrad go a few laps, and then I managed to pass, and yeah, I was close at the end, but you know, I was the fastest guy, so I'm pretty happy. And what to say, I'm happy, you know.
Congratulations.
From failing to score a single point in the heat and humidity of Florida a week ago, Jorge Prado bounces back here to the tough, sandy conditions of Assen at the MXGP of the Netherlands and wins the MX2 Grand Prix, round 18 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. What a difference a week makes. Official confirmation of MX2 Race 2. Jorge Prado, Red Bull KTM, your winner. Jeremy Seewer, second for Suzuki World MX2. The Rockstar Energy Husqvarna of Thomas Kjær Olsen was third. HSF Logistics Motorsport KTM of Valendron was 4. Bogus 5, Lawrence 6, Jonas 7. LRT KTM's Julian Lieber was 8th. 9th for David Puches, Brent Van Donnick for Khmer Yamaha was 10. Osland 11, Conrad Musfelder 12th in the end, ahead of Thomas Covington. Jed Beaton for Carglass Honda. Jargo Geerts, great recovery from him as well, battered and bruised on the Sarkar Racing KTM. The STC Husky of Henry Jacobi came home in 16th place. Overall, it is another win for the third time this year for the Spaniard Jorge Prado. 47 points on the board. Jonas second. The weight for that title goes down to the final round between him and Jeremy Seewer. 41 points now between the two title hopefuls. World Championship standings in MX2 now look like this. 41 points between Jonas and Seewer. Jonas taking a point out of Jeremy Seewer this weekend. Thomas Gehr-Olsen third, and he's guaranteed third in the championship for 2017. Pat Covington rounding out the top five, but Covington could move past the Frenchman at the final round at Villars-sous-Écot in a week's time at the MXGP of Pays de Montbéliard. KTM clear in the manufacturer's chase, and looks like they would have won that already. Suzuki second, Husqvarna third, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Honda, and TM with 144 points in seventh. Fox hole shot belonged to Conrad Muse. The Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider picking up his, second black plate? But Jorge Prado has already won that competition. Jonas 9, Covington on 7. Heading down to the podium then. Look at the wind starting to pick up here. Pretty much on the north coast of the Netherlands here at Assen TT Circuit. Third overall, Jeremy Seewer for Suzuki World MX2. He still has a mathematical chance, but it could all be over in race one. It could go down to the final race of the season in France in a week's time. Pauls Jonas will have his say in that as well, obviously. And it's just those two now that are fighting it out for the World Championship in MX2. Jorge Prado stands on the top step of the podium, though. A Red Bull KTM 1-2 here this weekend in Assen. He almost came close to taking a win out of his teammate Jeffrey Hurlings last year, but this time he gets on the podium. This was where he got his first ever podium, actually, 12 years ago. 12 months ago. Dirk Grubel will collect the manufacturer's trophy for KTM this weekend. So Jeremy Seewer, third overall then for Suzuki World MX2 for the third time this year. He's been second on 5 occasions. He's also taken 5 victories himself. Pauls Jonas, second overall. He's a step closer, having taken a point out of Jeremy Seewer this weekend to lifting the title, but there's still plenty of action to go. 2 races. Jorge Prado takes his winner's trophy, his third of the year, from Dr. Wolfgang Schrub, the FIM Europe president, who also hands the winner's trophy to Dirk Grubel on behalf of KTM. Just one matter left. The red plate for Pauls Jonas. He does continue to lead. He has extended his championship lead by a point over Jeremy Seewer. Mr. Tony Skillington, the FIM CMS director, delivering that plate as swiftly as ever. But for Jorge Prado and Spain, the Spanish national anthem for the third time in MX2 in 2017. Jorge Prado, Pauls Jonas from Red Bull KTM, the top 2 here at the MXGP of the Netherlands, round 18 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. Jeremy Seewer, third overall. for Team Suzuki World MX2. We will talk to the top 3 in a moment after the best moments.
Overall winner here is Jorge Prado. Jorge, tell us about your weekend. 3rd GP victory in MX2. First race, close with your teammates. Second race, you put everything into it.
Yeah, it was it was a good race, good weekend. The weather stayed dry for the day, so that made things more easy. So I'm pretty happy. One race left, so let's try to do it again next weekend. We gave everything here. I won Lommel and these 2 Sun races, so I'm really proud of me. So what to say, thank you to everyone who's supporting me, and see you next weekend.
Thanks, Jorge. Second overall today we have Paul's Jonas. Paul's title wasn't meant to be this weekend. Tell us about your weekend in that second moto, perhaps a little bit off the pace, struggling a little bit.
Yeah, you know, I got really good first race, you know, I was happy about that, and then wanted to do the same in the second race, but I didn't get so good start, and, you know, had some tight battles in the first laps and a little bit lose my rhythm, so I was not riding so well in the last minutes of the race, but, you know, really wanted to win the title this weekend. Maybe that's why I put a little bit too much pressure on myself, but, you know, in the end of the day, it doesn't matter when you win the title, and the most important thing is that you win it at the last race, you know, and, you know, we'll look forward for the next race, and I want to say a huge thanks to all my team and everyone around me, and see you next weekend.
But you have actually gained 1 point in the championship as well.
Yeah, you know, that's important. You know, we didn't lose any points, so we will take it easy this week, and then, you know, let's go racing next weekend again.
Congratulations, thank you. 3rd overall today we have Jeremy Siwa. Jeremy, tough first moto, a lot better in that second moto. You just perhaps ran out of time a little bit, but you've kept your championship alive at least for another weekend.
Yeah, that's true. You know, we could manage to bring the championship to the last race. Okay, the chance is really small, you know, but still I just try to do my best every weekend. You know, that second motor was pretty good. I had some good lines and could pass some riders and just run out of time in the end. But I'm really happy to end up on the podium here in Assen, because it's actually the track I was most scared about the whole year. Like I'm just not feeling it here. It's sand, but just something else, you know, and quite scary with the jumps and all those concrete and metal things around. But I'm happy to finish off with a good moto again, and I'm looking forward to see a lot of Swiss spectators next weekend in France to cheer me on, and I go for another GP win, and the rest we will see. Thanks, guys.
Good job, thank you.
Right, we'll be back in just a moment with MXGP Race 2. We'll see you in a moment.